We live and we back, man. Welcome back to the Golden Goose DFS show. Y'all know who it is, man. I'm your host, Chandler Blakely, aka Goose, here today bringing you another edition of my starting five on DraftKings and FanDuel, alright? But before we do that, y'all know it's the lineup review. Going over the updated starting five that I posted on Twitter for y'all in the comment section of yesterday's video. Let's get into the breakdown, and please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, turn your notification bell on, man. If any of y'all play golf, we got golf coming up next week, so about to get into one of our other sports with the NBA season winding down, alright? Now let's get into this breakdown. Coming up, man, last night was it was an alright slate. We lost a little money. Finished my best lineup of the day starting fives and $1.20 max. Man, which brings me to my first point, guys. I'm just going real light. Keep it real light, because trust me, these next couple of days is going to be crazy. You might have a guy just sit for no reason that you thought was going to play, man. I'm telling you, it all depends on what teams need to look at and what they need to see, how they are in the playoff race. So those things are going to be very key. It's going to be a lot of craziness. I wouldn't advise going too crazy. Just keep it light. Whatever your contest is, maybe take it down a notch. Like if you was playing like the $40 single entry, $27 entry, maybe take it down to the 12 or whatever you was doing, man. Just go. I would go super. I recommend going super light. If you feel like you got a good bead on it, you can keep doing what you're doing. By all means, go right ahead. But I'm taking it super light, as I know this time of year, these last couple of days of the regular season get real crazy. You never know how rotation's gonna work for real and play out unless they are playing for a playoff spot. All right. So that being said, let's get into the breakdown. If you caught my updated starting five yesterday, you know I went with Damian Lillard, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, Taylor Horton Tucker, Jason Tatum, and Tristan Thompson. All right. Now my strategy for yesterday, I knew majority of the lineup, especially in the single entry and in the 20 maxes, man. The majority lineups were going to start with like Westbrook and Pritchard, with that being the perceived value and just everybody being on Westbrook. And then they probably, just by looking at the ownership, you could tell like that was going to be a lot of the Bills. Westbrook, Pritchard, they probably had some Fournier in there. And then the next play was probably Drummond. And then they were just building around that, pick the other superstar or whatever, you know. That was going to be a lot of the Bills. So I wanted to try to switch it up, get a little different from that. With Evan Fournier and Jason Tatum, I was just on those guys heavy yesterday. If you saw the video yesterday, you knew they was in the earliest starting five on the video. And once all the news hit for the Celtics, I just felt like they was in an improved spot. So I wanted to go to those two guys. All right, we got Evan Fournier. Knew he'd be pretty popular, 65% in a matchup against Cleveland. He just gave us 20, right at 29 DK points. Not nearly enough for the type of performance we was expecting for him with the guys out that the Celtics had out. I figured it'd be Fournier and Tatum with the 1-2 punch, and they would get most of the shots, but they just didn't perform well. As you can see, as the Celtics fall to the Cavaliers, did not see that one come, even with those guys out. So 65% Evan Fournier. We just wanted to go there. Like I said, Tatum the same thing. I really kind of hate that all those Celtic guys got ruled out, because I know that pushed ownership towards them. To push more ownership towards them. They was gonna see a little bit, but they probably wouldn't have been this chalky. But I knew once Kimba, Smart, all those guys, I was gonna push ownership towards them. So, but I was okay with it, because they were just those guys being out just improves the two positions that I already love. So we got Tatum. He came in right at about 41% on. Gave us 48. A solid performance from him. Needed a little bigger from him on this $9,400 price tag. All right. Now rounding out the rest of the starting five, at the top went Dame Lillard, just because I knew he would go overlooked, and you had to have some stars in there to compact. But if you wasn't going Westbrook, you had to go like Luka or maybe Lillard or maybe Trey, someone who had the potential to score just as much as him if he didn't go crazy. So That was the whole goal here, to go into a lower owned Damian Lillard in a perceived tough matchup with the Jazz right here. But I knew the Portland Trailblazers still fighting for their spot, nothing secure. The Jazz were trying to lock in the number one seed, so I knew it'd be a very competitive game, and Dame would come to play. And yeah, I knew a lot of people weren't gonna go to this spot because they feel like it was a tough matchup. So I wanted to go Dame here just to give me access to that 60-point type ceiling. Got him at 7% on right here, beautiful ownership. He gave us right pretty much 45 DK points. Just a solid effort from him. They didn't need him to do too much as they had a well-rounded performance yesterday. Nurkic had a pretty good game and McCollum, so Dame didn't need to go too crazy for them to secure the win. But solid effort from Dame right here. Just not enough for what we needed yesterday. All right. And then round out the starting five. Wanted to go Tristan Thompson. Knew he would be low on. And this was my pivot and like a slight pay down from some of that Drummond chalk. A lot of ownership was going to Drummond. And not that Drummond wasn't a good play, but all that ownership he was going, I saw a couple of paths for him to fail. One, they could have played Marc Gasol and Montrezl Harrell more, and just even split the minutes. He's played big minutes without AD and LeBron, and disappointed in performances. So I was like, when all the ownership was going on, even I thought he was a very solid player, he was drawing too much ownership, and I felt I could pay down to Tristan Thompson. And Tristan Thompson I feel like he should be locked in 30-plus minutes with no Robert Williams over there. I feel they need a bigger body going against Jared Allen on the block. I know he had potential at a bigger at a ceiling type performance, as he should see pretty much, like I said, 30-plus minutes. And he has 38, maybe low 40-point upside. So this was my way of getting different from Andre Drummond. But at 5,000, we got Tristan Thompson right here at 5%. Just 23 DK points from him. Not nearly enough. Didn't even quite make 5X right here from disappointing performance from Tristan Thompson. Right? This contest was this was $1.20 max. Put up 282. Finished like 13 points outside the money. Cash line was like 294, 295, something like that. But like I said, I'm just doing a couple lineups, man. Keeping it lighted. This is going to be a very hectic time right here, guys. Finishing out the lineup. Wanted to get a run back in that Portland in the Utah game, just in case it was I expected it to be a close game, just in case it was a high scoring, maybe you got an overtime or something. I knew nobody would be going to Jordan Clarkson. He had a chance. He always got a chance for 40, 50-point upside. He's the main scorer really right now for the Jazz. He comes off the bench, but him and Bogdanovich are the main two scorers. They're the ones who are really taking shots. Ingles is just looking more to facilitating things of that nature. So I wanted to get the Jordan Clarkson right here on the run back from Lillard at 7,500. Got him right at pretty much by 11%. Solid effort from him. Gave us 40 DK points, almost 6x over here. Very solid. Just needed to push that 50 type to come all the way in the money. And then finishing out the lineup down here at the bottom, Bruce Brown. Wanted to get this. Once we saw he was starting and saw that starting lineup for the Nets, we knew Brown is a solid rebounder. He should have a chance at putbacks and things of that nature. As he's very solid whenever he gets to playing time for the Nets. Got him at 19% on. He gave us a nice double, 33 points out of him. Great performance from Mr. Brown here. And then finishing up with Taylor Horton Tucker down here. Knew he would be kind of chalky with no AD, no LeBron, no Alex Caruso. Definitely wanted to get him in here as he was definitely, I felt like he'll play you would need yesterday in this matchup against Houston. Got him at 32% on. He gave us 44 DK points. Just very solid effort from him. 10X out here at Taylor Horton Tucker, all right? Now, let's get on to tomorrow and see what I'm liking over there, all right? Coming in tomorrow, man. We got a nice, I think it's a 9-gamer tomorrow. Be ready for the news, guys. Be by your laptop, your phone, whatever you do, man, because expect a lot of different news. But I got an idea where I want to try to attack it at tomorrow. So let's get into it. Coming in at the point guard, excuse me, I want to look at Elfrid Payton right here, man. The reason why I'm going here against the Knicks, The backcourt is a little beat up right now. We got Quickly, who missed the last couple of games. Derrick Rose is questionable with an ankle injury. So if both of those guys miss, I definitely think it's Elfrid Payton season. He could be in line for close to 30 minutes. At least half the minutes they may elect to give some to Frank Ntilikina. But I don't anticipate him getting much. If Rose and Quickly is out, Peyton's gonna be a favorite value player of mine tomorrow. I'm gonna expect him to start and see close to 30 minutes in his matchup against the Spurs. So Elfrid Payton right now, my point guard, pending some injury news. Coming in at shooting guard, I want to take a look at Mr. Devontae Graham back in the lineup. Saw him have a very solid performance last time out. Not expecting that big of a performance again, but I think he is too cheap right here for the role he's going to have for this Charlotte Hornets team. As they'll be tightening up their rotation, getting the playoff run. They still trying to fight for playoff seeding and things of that nature. So they should come out very competitive against these Clippers. The Clippers may sit Kawhi and Paul George. I think they playoff position is pretty much locked up. Just have to wait and see, but definitely want to take a shot at Devontae Graham at this $5,900 price tag. Coming in at the small forward, Mr. Aaron Gordon. Now, the reason why I want to look here is one, his price tag didn't move much after a stellar performance not say stellar, but a solid performance last game out. He's at $5,100. I think he's still too cheap. The Denver coach had been mentioned that they wanted to get Aaron Gordon involved on the offensive end and try to get him in a rhythm. And we saw that take hold last game out as he finally got over double-digit shot attempts for his first time, maybe all year with the Nuggets. Took 14 field goal attempts. So very solid from Aaron Gordon. I expect them to try to keep him involved offensively in this matchup, as they're going to need him offensively in the playoffs. So I can see him having a similar type performance, taking double-digit shots. Maybe they run some sets for him on the offensive end instead of going through Jokic. Just trying to get him in rhythm offensively and coordinated with everyone else going into the playoffs. They are pretty much in the playoffs. A game against Minnesota is the perfect time to try to showcase somebody else and get them going. So I want to take a look at Aaron Gordon right here with that in mind for today's slate at $5,100. Coming in at power forward, I want to look at my man Jaren Jackson Jr. All right, I like this play right now, and I have potential to love it. It just depends on that Jonas Valanciunas news. He's questionable today with his back. If he sits out again, I think this could finally be the game we see 30-plus minutes from Jaren Jackson. They slowly been ticking up. He saw 27 minutes last time out as they're trying to get him back in shape, get him ready to go for a playoff run as well. So if Valanciunas sits, Jaren Jackson might be my favorite play across both sites tomorrow. But I like him right now. Sure, like I said, I'm expecting him to still be in line for maybe 30 minutes, even if Valanciunas plays. If Valanciunas sits, though, I think that definitely should lock him in for 30 minutes and give him a little run at the center spot as well. So that should probably help his rebound rate, and it's a great matchup, an up-paced matchup against the Sacramento Kings. I'm liking Jaren Jackson tomorrow. And coming in at the center spot, I want to look at Jusuf Nurkic. Going against the Phoenix Suns, tough matchup, but should be a tough competitive game here, as Portland has not locked up playoff seeding yet. Even though they won yesterday, the Lakers won too, so they still have to play, still have to keep winning. The Phoenix Suns are in a battle with the Jazz for the number one seed. I think they can take the number one seed right here with a win tonight, since the Jazz lost last night to these same Portland Trail Blazers. But either way, I'm expecting to be a tough competitive game. I'm expecting Nurkic to see 30-plus minutes as Portland is tightening up their road. Everybody's tightening up their rotation, getting ready for a playoff run. So he should be in line for 30-plus minutes. Going against DeAndre Ayton down there, who is not stellar on the defensive end, especially for as a one-on-one matchup is concerned. So I like getting a Nurkic right here at this $7,200. I like this price tag for the minutes he expected to see. There you have it, man. My starting five right now for DraftKings: Elfrid Payton, Devontae Graham, Aaron Gordon, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Jusuf Nurkic. Let's go take a look at FanDuel and see what it's looking like over there. At the top, the guy I want to take a look at, Ja Morant, $7,400, going against the Sacramento Kings. Love this price tag on, a little too cheap over here on FanDuel. Should see big minutes in a pace-up matchup against the Sacramento Kings as the Grizzlies still fighting to make sure they're in the playoffs. I like getting Ja Morant in this matchup. Coming in as shooting guard, guy want to take a look at it again. Gary Trent Jr., 4,900. Love this FanDuel price on him. Matchup against Chicago Bulls, expecting all those Raptor guys to be out again. It's the same story as last time. He should be able to have whatever shot he wants to take, whatever he want to do offensively. He gonna have the chances and opportunities too. So you just gotta hope his shot is on it. If he comes out and his shot is, if he got his stroke going, he's feeling good today, he can really crush this 4,900 price tag on FanDuel. I like some Gary Trent Jr. Coming in at small forward, another guy who I love the price on over here on FanDuel is Michael Porter Jr., 7,400. Very solid for the Nuggets this year, man. Going against the Minnesota Timberwolves here, definitely he's been a powerful offensive punch for them so far. So I think that continues right here. Going against a weaker Minnesota Timberwolves, get you some Michael Porter Jr. tomorrow. And at power forward, staying with my boy Jaren Jackson, 6K over here on FanDuel, expecting him to get increased run, possibly 30 plus with no Jonas Valanciunas, and we want to take advantage of that at this 6K price tag. Just hope he can stay out of foul trouble in this up-paced matchup against the Kings. And rounding out at center, staying with my boy Yusef Nurkic, 7,600. Expecting a nice performance from him down there going against DeAndre Ayton. He might be a little too skilled offensively. He can have a big double-double right here in this matchup. Get you some Yusef Nurkic. All right? That's going to do it for us on FanDuel, guys. My starting five right now, Ja Morant, Gary Trent Jr., Michael Porter Jr., Jaren Jackson, and Yusef Nurkic. Get you some exposure to these guys. Get them in your player pool. You know I'm going to have them in mind, all right? That's going to do it for us here today. Y'all know the motto. Chances make champions. Y'all green up. I'll see y'all tomorrow, all right? Let's go.